One here. Sorry, we're a little late from a couple of technical difficulties, but mainly that Michele was invisible. I'm not sure how she managed to do that, but it's a great trick if you can do it. There's sometimes I'd like to be a fly on the wall and get to
Yeah.
hear some things. So
Yeah.
anyway, for those of you who don't know my guest today is is Michele Allen. She's a nurse, not a doctor, from Monkey's House. We've been good friends for a lot of years. Michele is the executive director and co-founder of Monkey's House Dog Hospice and Sanctuary, and she and her husband Jeff and their volunteers do amazing work every single day with the dogs at Monkey's House. Michele uses an integrative approach for her hospice care, which is actually getting to be a little bit more common. We are seeing more and more hospice and rescue organizations that are kind of moving in this direction. Do you feel like you're a pioneer in that, though, Michele?
Yes. If pioneer means hitting your head repeatedly against a brick wall, yes.
Potentially.
But grateful to see changes made.
Yes. So basically, Michele and Jeff, their motto at Monkey's House is where dogs go to live. We've talked about it many times, but a lot of people say, "Oh, senior hospice and sanctuary, that's a lot of death and dying, and it's so sad." And in reality, it's a lot of living, particularly for animals who were at the end of their rope, at the end of their life, and had no hope, no outlet, because all of the dogs that come into Monkey's House are basically coming from high kill shelters. Is that correct?
We do occasionally work with a no-kill shelter. Dogs come in and they'll do the best they can for them. And what's nice is the one that I work with the most gets them properly diagnosed, and so they're appropriate when they come.
Which is great. So Michele, for those of you who don't know her, she was recognized in 2017 as a CNN hero, which is not an easy thing to be nominated for. And it required kind of a whole year of work because you were in the top 10, top 12, top 20. I don't remember what it was.
We were in the top 20 out of I want to say 25,000 nonprofits that were nominated from around the world. It was really a great.
It was pretty crazy, but it was also, a lot of work, and but there were a lot of good came out of it as far as donations and awareness for what Michele is doing. And I know that it's really critically important. Michele can only care for so many dogs at a time because most of them live in their house. A few of them are in long-term foster care in other people's homes. But she can only reach so many. So having awareness through something like being nominated as a CNN hero makes a huge difference for getting the word out and helping other people apply some of the same principles to their own pets. Monkey's House was also USA Today's Best of Animal Kind in 2021. And Michele and Jeff received a proclamation from the state of New Jersey in 2022 for their advocacy work, which is a big deal as well. But the reason I have Michele on today, other than the fact that we always have fun when we get to chat, is that we are going to get to see each other in person on October 28th at the Naturally Healthy Pets Experience event in Tinton Falls, New Jersey. And apparently my mouth just went on vacation. And Michele is actually from New Jersey. Monkey's House is in New Jersey. And no, you can't all go visit Monkey's House on your way to the event. Sorry, that's just not available. But Michele has actually agreed to be part of our speaker lineup for that event on October 28th in Tinton Falls. And she's going to be talking about the upside of palliative care. So would you like to give us a couple of clues what might be included or what you're going to be talking about?
So, if we're talking about palliative care is doing everything you can to promote comfort and life and joy and happiness in the face of a terminal diagnosis. and someone will say, "Oh, my dog is in heart failure and I'm broken and I don't know how I'm going to get through tomorrow." And then the conversation turns to, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Uh, It doesn't have to be. If we can be proactive, if you can work with a vet, if you can utilize integrative or alternative approaches, you can get that dog stabilized again, and then figure out, what do you want to do? What is this? Do you have extra vacation time? Do you want to take a trip? Do you want to, incorporate extra walks into your day? There's so many things that you can do. Now, when you see me out down at the shore, in my car is an oxygen concentrator, emergency medications. I do travel prepared for everything, but basically, it's a very important talk that we all need to have. And I'm going to share a lot of very fun pictures of some dogs that are very sick that you couldn't know, that you wouldn't know that they were sick.
Which is awesome. I think we have pictures of a couple of dogs, if we can maybe get those up on the screen. Who is that?
So that is Parcel, and that is from the no-kill shelter that I said, does such a great job with him. And in that picture, he was found in a box in the heat in August. This was 2 years ago, and in active congestive heart failure. The active, like, respirations off the chart, hot mess. He was emaciated. He was stinky. He was full of fleas. And the kennel manager said, "We're in trouble. This dog is really sick." She said, "We can get you quarantine. We can quarantine him for 2 weeks. But something about this breathing is really, really bad." And I was able to get him in to see my vet that day. And she started him off right away on all of the right medications to treat this. But she said, "Get him to see Dr. Miller as fast as you can."
That's the
So
cardiologist.
that's the cardiologist. So, she said that he was one of the sickest, one of the thinnest dogs she had seen, but she said he was also so full of life. And I hadn't seen him yet. He initially was diagnosed in stage C. And at that time, it was active congestive heart failure, or acute. We were able to manage him and quiet it back down. We were able to, damage his kidneys a little bit along the way. I don't know. Are there more pictures? Did more
Yeah.
pictures come? So that picture was in August of 21, and this was Parcel. He had gained some weight. People say, "Oh, they have heart issues. You want to keep them really thin, right?" No, you want to keep them at an appropriate weight to support their body, to support mobility. So there he is, rocking his outfit on his way to see Santa. And there he is on the beach. One of the keys to this dog's longevity, in November of 22, he advanced to stage D. And he had multiple times at home where he was just sitting next to me, and his baseline respirations were about 24 to 26. And just that was his baseline. And all of a sudden, he'd shoot up to 144 in his respirations, and being able to treat it right away, getting oxygen on him, getting medication for anxiety, to open up his airways, to do all of that stuff, I believe decreased the amount of damage that his heart sustained during these acute attacks, where he would tear the little hinges that hold the valves in place. And it brought him a lot of longevity. It wasn't long before he just started to have a great love of walking, and he would just walk everywhere. So, like, I think all the pictures I sent you, like, he was walking with his friends, like, he just lived to walk. When he advanced to stage D, there he was walking with another one of his buddies. When he advanced to stage D, he still loved walking, and if you saw a leash, you were committed. If you and he locked eyes and looked at the door, you were committed. But he so gracefully changed from walking, 2 miles, to sniffing. And we still have that time. And okay, don't come in on this one. This was at a celebration of life for Ellipy, another monkey's house dog, and that is a cream puff on the beach. So we were celebrating another dog that we had lost that we all loved, and she loved cream puffs and the beach. So that was from that one.
You
But
brought
it
those.
was it was so graceful, the way he did. I can tell you, I damaged this and I damaged that and I can't ride anymore and I'm so sad and it's hard to fill that gap in my life and I miss this and I miss that. He was just like flicking a switch, like, yeah, we can't go 10 blocks or we can't go all the way down to the beach, or if we're going to do the beach, you have to drive me there. But he turned to sniffing, like, so he always enjoyed sniffing, but now that's what he did. We would go out for our time, and I never planned a route anymore. I never said, we're going to be back in a half hour or an hour, or we're going to walk this far. It was, we went till he went, and then we turned around when he turned around. And what, like, he didn't waste any time, like being sad. He didn't waste any time. And from the time he went to stage D, like I said, we were starting to have issues with kidneys. We still managed another 5 months, and there were some walks in that 5 months, some decent walks, but a lot of sniffing, a lot of love, a lot of beautiful adventures. And that's something that, if you just looked at what was wrong with him, a lot of veterinarians would recommend euthanasia. And if you're open to it, if you're not open to it, then it's not for you. But if you're open to it, the time to talk about it is right now, when their respirations are not 144, when strangers who are not your regular vet are coming at you saying things that are scary, because you want to hear that information from someone. I get upset when people say, well, I heard this from my vet, and now they're online taking a survey and they have no idea who they're talking to. So start the wheel, start the talk now. It does not, losing them is definitely one of the hardest days in your life, but it doesn't have to stay forever the hardest day in your life.
Exactly. Were you always into more integrative care? I know you were a nurse, so clearly you were working in, well, I shouldn't say clearly, but you were working in very traditional medicine for your career. When and how or why, or all the above, did you switch to more integrative and leaning, fresh food and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. It's so funny. In school, I was taught what the gold standard was, and anything else was malpractice, grounds for malpractice for my license as a nurse. Um, and it's a shame to close an open mind. It's really sad. It's a really sad thing to do. And it took me quite a long time. And I had monkeyed with integrative stuff, but I had never gone full feet in, until I had a dog who had liver cancer, and we would go through this thing where she would get sick. I'd feed her chicken and rice, the manager special chicken and the cheapest rice you could imagine. And I would feed her that for a few days until she would stop getting sick. And then we would continue on back to kibble. And it occurred to me, she was living far beyond what was expected. And it occurred to me that, this is cancer, and I know better. Like, just don't feed her, don't feed her the chicken that's about to go bad today. Don't buy the cheapest rice that's in the store. And that started me on what is a healthy diet for a dog. And there was probably 2,000 answers to that. And all of them being what I was doing was wrong and was going to kill my dog. And she eventually did pass. And people say, "Oh, it was your love," and I loved her, but it wasn't love. It wasn't love. I really do believe that it was little breaks from kibble. Then I just, off chance, went to support a fundraiser that was for one of the shelters that I fostered for, and there was this vet there named Dr. Judy Morgan. And it was like you just plugged into my head. You answered all of my questions, and you just made everything that I had been searching answers for make sense, including, like, I think I said to you, so what do you do if you have 11 dogs and your 94-pound lab counter surfs dinner? What do you feed? And you said, do you have sardines in your house? Do you have eggs in your house? Do you have pumpkin in your house? You got a meal. You know what I mean? Like, it was, they're not going to die. You'll be okay. you were able to give me real life answers to things that were holding me back. So so that was pretty cool. It was, I think, a 3-hour lecture.
I was gonna say
And
that's that. My first book came out in 2014, and I think that was maybe after
it
the
was
book came out.
I think it was before the book came
Was
out.
it?
It was in like a, is in the kitchen of like a tennis club in Medford Lakes.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
my
I
book
think
was not out yet, so maybe it was like 2012.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, wow, come a long way in that 10-year span, 12-year
Well,
span.
from that talk, from that generic, you were talking to everybody in the room. I mean, I thought you were talking directly to me, but you were talking to everyone in the room. I went home and made some changes in all of the dogs' diets and my approach to what I was doing, and they were small beginner changes. And it wasn't long before they started acting great and just had a different level of energy that I didn't realize that they could achieve. And then I came for a consult. I thought you were really far away at that point, so I made a consult for 3 dogs, and then
Drove an hour.
then then drove an hour, and turned out that wasn't that far away, and we made lots of trips down over the
A lot,
years.
a lot of trips down, and not and 3 would be a nothing trip. Usually it was 8 or 9.
Well, I had to break you in slowly to my level of crazy.
That is true. That is true. But, the levels of crazy between us over the years have been a lot of fun. When I get text
Yeah.
messages with, I'm in the shower with Jake and he just passed out. And first of all, I was like, who is this? And who is Jake? And why are you telling me that you're in the shower with Jake? Like, these are the text messages I would get at all times of the day and night. And that one was really one of the best ones, though.
Yeah, so it's, you see those things on Facebook saying, consider me one of those friends that you can call and ask to bring a shovel in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Would you meet me in the woods and not ask any questions? Yeah, that was. I the next day, Jake did unpass out eventually, and I brought him. He passed out again on the way to your office, and I drug him in on a sleeping bag. He was about a 60-pound lab mix.
Shepherd mix,
And
yeah.
I said to you, I said, I know this looks bad. I know this looks really bad, but this dog has had a hard life, and I feel like he just deserves a little bit of good. And I knew this was really bad. And because we had a relationship, because I had established myself as a client that would do what you say, that you would trust my assessment of when to call if there was problems. You did an EKG. It turned out he was in AFib, and $17 worth of medication brought him 3 weeks of life. He had cancer everywhere. He was a hot mess. But what was causing him to pass out was his irregular fast heart rate, and it was that 3 weeks, I think, meant a lot to him, and it meant a lot to me to give it to him.
Yep. So I think everyone needs a friend that they can text and say that Jake is passed out in the shower next to. And really, it was yes, I asked questions because I don't think I even had Michelle's name in my phone. It was just this phone number with this message. But you're talking to somebody with an open mind when they're like, "Who are you and who is Jacob? Why are you in the shower together?" And
I don't
really,
think I said Michelle. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
think I
no,
asked
and
you
there
about that.
was no judgment. It was just like, "Who are you and why do I need to know this?" Anyway,
Yeah.
so for those of you who don't know, Michelle and I worked to put a course together on an integrative approach to hospice and palliative care for dogs. You can get a certification as a canine hospice and palliative care provider through that course if you want to do the tests and do the interactive parts. But if you don't want that and you just want the information for caring for your own dogs or your own fosters or your own rescues or whoever, there are different levels of the course that are available. So you can access that on drjudyu.com. Where do people, first of all, are you working on anything new? I know that Jeff, your husband, has written at least 3 books. Where Dogs Go to Live, which is about the Monkey's House dogs. And then he did a coffee table book with, I can't remember the title. Chew a bone all day long or something.
Life's a dog bone. Chew it all day long. Yes.
Yeah. So
And
that's
he
a
did a
coffee
really
table
cute
book.
video with that. Yep.
And great pictures. And there's a great, I think it's on YouTube, a great video. And then his latest one is a fiction novel, Leashes in Heaven. And in that, he does kill Michele off at the very beginning of the book. She's dead. Just, spoiler alert. But it is a very entertaining, very good book with a very good ending. And I'm not going to spoil that part. So look up Jeff Allen. I think the books are on the monkeyshouse.org.
Yes. It's also available on Amazon.
And available on Amazon.
I think he's jeffallen.com.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm new to these earphones.
Yeah. So lots of places that you can see the books, get the books. I do recommend them. They are enjoyable to read. The picture book is just phenomenal pictures that were taken. You can see there's some on the wall behind Michele. And if you ever do, actually in the hospice course, at the end, we have a video showing all the walls in Monkey's House that are just covered literally wall to wall with these photos. A lot of them were professional photos where photographers came in and took pictures of these dogs, and they're amazing. You literally could spend a whole day just going from picture to picture. And I think you guys change those out occasionally. Yes? No?
We do. Actually, I'm grounded right now because there's probably 20 in my closet that need to go up, and we're out of wall space. So
you need to add more rooms.
Yep. But occasionally they go on sale for, I think they're $1.99 a piece. So I just save them in a file so that when they're on sale, they hate to hear from me.
So those are all the stretched canvas things.
Yeah.
So very
but
cool.
They tell the story. I can talk all day long. You need to show what you're doing. And if you said, oh, can you bring your sickest dog up to the event? I can't. They're my sickest dog. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I can't stress them like that. So this to me, through pictures, through videos, through the things we write on Facebook, that's the best way to show the proof of what's happening, because anyone can say anything, and what we want is to show people.
Exactly. Show and teach. And Michele's a great teacher. A lot of people have reached out to her for help with their pets, and she graciously gives of a lot of her time. So we do appreciate that. And I know sometimes it can be overwhelming. So if you do reach out and you don't get an immediate answer, just know that sometimes her inbox is really full.
Thanks. It is.
It is. So follow Monkey's House on Facebook. Do you guys have a YouTube or Instagram or any other channels, or is it mostly Facebook?
We do. One of our volunteers runs the Instagram page, and I apologize. I want to say it's Monkey's House _dog hospice.
Okay.
But
shows you how often Michelle's on Instagram. I know.
I keep going to Instagram jail. I didn't
even know you could go to Instagram jail.
So let me tell you, you go on Instagram and you figure the best way to find your way around is to like your friend's posts. Like if I see that you write something, I like it, and both times I've been into jail instantly for trying to start a trend. I didn't realize I was that powerful, but I'm a trendsetter.
Well, good to know. I'll have to get your autograph.
Yeah.
So is Jeff coming to the New Jersey event, or just you?
Jeff is coming.
All right, so he bring books, because Jeff will be there. You can get books, and he will autograph books. And I'm telling you, this event is going to sell out, because Michele and I are both from New Jersey, and we got a lot of friends. And most of them are saying they're coming. And this one, sadly, does have a seat limit, whereas Chicago, we could have squeezed a lot more people into the room if we needed to. This one, we can't. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, I would strongly recommend getting your tickets. We will also have Angela Ardolino, who is just an amazing speaker on adaptogens and mushrooms and CBD. Billy Hookman is doing a new talk this time, and I can't remember what it is, but his are always just overwhelmingly good. At the Oh, geez, the Virginia Beach event, he actually burst into tears, which was he shocked himself, but he was showing pictures of his 2-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
Maple, and his
Oh,
dog, Huckleberry, and he surprised himself. But Billy always speaks from the heart and great at answering questions. So it should be a really fun event. If you haven't gotten your tickets and you have any ideas at all of going to New Jersey, we also have a couple special couple special guests that are flying in from other places, and I'm not even going to say who those are at this point. So we'll see a bunch of you there. And Michele, thank you for all the work that you're doing. I can't wait to hear your talk because there's always more to learn.
thank you. Thank you. What I want to say, I've heard all of these speakers speak, and they never, ever fail to inspire me. And sometimes that inspiration comes when from the vet side, there's nothing that can be done. From my side, there's nothing that can be done. I feel like I'm up against a wall, and sometimes it comes through. And sometimes the changes that I make help everyone feel a little bit better. There's just, it's a great place to come for inspiration.
It is. It is. And it's great to be with a couple hundred of like-minded people who all kind of have the same goal.
Yeah, you get to meet all of your Facebook friends who don't have their picture on their
exactly. You have no idea what they look like, but you can say who their dog is.
That's it. That's it. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Michele, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.